Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Options Mentor. Was that a crazy ending to the week or what? The week was really held up, the volatility until Friday. The volatility in the Friday options really was elevated until that non-farm payroll came out, which ended up being a pretty decent number. The market liked that, but it was very interesting for them to see them hold the IV up in the market all week long till expiration day on those options, which does happen once in a while. As a matter of fact, I think it happened the last time that the non-farm payrolls number came out. You'll find that that number and many of the other big numbers come and go over time, where their importance for sometimes, like apparently now they're saying the non-farm payroll very important. Then you'll have other points in the market where maybe CPI is more important, or maybe everything the Fed says. Although the Fed is usually pretty important and it's elevated importance now because they're looking for a rate cut. But things do come and go that the market keys on. I remember several years ago when the market was going up the SPX every day, up and down with oil. Whatever crude oil did, the market did. So it's interesting over time to see those developments. And to be a good trader over time, you really need to be a student of the market and notice those things, because you need to not only notice what's happening now and what's key, but you also need to be able to shift when something's no longer that important, just like different strategies, in certain environments, certain volatilities. You can do trades and you'll have a higher level of success than if you tried them in other volatilities. And that's what I'm going to talk about this week is we're getting a little lower on the volatility. Let's start out by looking here at the VIX. The VIX chart, you can see we have really dropped in it. We're not as low as we've been in the last year, but we're pretty darn low, right? The last time we were this low was in March. And before that, well, it was in February, way back there. So things are getting a little lower on the vol. We'll see if the market can hold it. There's been a lot of developments over the last few days. You have the Musk and Trump fighting with each other. I don't think the market's going to like that, although I have seen where apparently that's cooling a little. Musk, I think, wants to tack back in after he had, well, I think you could probably say probably a bit of an overreaction to what he said, but depends on how you look at it, I guess. But hopefully, as far as the market goes, those two can make up and the market can be a little more complacent. A market that is a little more complacent is a little easier for us to trade. Not to say we can't trade in high volatility successfully. Of course, we can and we have, but it's better if you're not having too many surprise moves, right? Over tariffs or these squabbles amongst officials. So this week, I want to talk about a trade I haven't talked on here for a while. I'm trying to remember. I think I brought it up before, but it's been a while. But definitely been a while because I wouldn't even consider this trade unless we were in lower volatility, down towards 15. Right now we're at 16.77. So if tomorrow the market volatility kicks back up, I would just go right back to what we've been doing, double diagonals, maybe fly diagonals, and see how that goes. But if we're here, maybe drift a little lower. Another trade that you could consider, of course, if it's right for you and you understand it, always start on paper, folks, is what I call the fly diagonal. The fly diagonal is set up just like, no, sorry, the fly calendar. It's set up just like the fly diagonal in that we put a bullish or a call fly that is above the market. And then we put a complex here below along Vega complex, either the put diagonal or in this case, a put calendar. So that's the starting point. And I think in this lower volatility, probably going up about 60 points. If you look here, we close at 6,000. Of course, I'm basing this on Friday's close. And then I went up 80 points for the top long. And then I went down 90 points for the bottom long. So 60 by 90 asymmetrical fly without the calendar next to it looks like this. And then a calendar here, I went down about 70 points. We may even be able to come in a little closer. And I was looking at different things. If you do a one lot, very often that's not the answer. Look at this big, big bite, what I call below the zero line. We don't want that. That's too much area where you're never going to make money. And if you do a two lot, which is what I would normally do with a 1-2-1 fly, now at least even in that weak spot, we're right around maybe just below zero. But I think that's doable because you can see here, if I go forward in time, and this is accurate, you can actually be at a profit that's more than you'd make on expiration in this lower part of the fly calendar combination. So that is okay for us to do and have that little bit of a bite below the zero line with our expiration graph. This is our expiration graph, this blue double TP looking thing. And then this purple, or somebody told me the other day it's magenta. That may be true. I'm not that great at colors. Line here is daily line. It just shows you where you'd be that day, whatever day you're on. So this is Sunday, of course. What if I went to Tuesday? Well, if volatility didn't change and theta came in normally, then you could be up this far. Now, as we know, those of us who've been trading the market recently, you can't count on that, right? Volatility does move around all day long, and chances are you won't be up that much then, but you could be. You could be up even more depending on how the volatility treats your individual options. But this trade, you of course you'd put on a fly, then put on the calendar, two separate trades. I just do them one right after the other. It doesn't matter which one's first. Another thing I was looking at here, oh, it is 3 days wide. I like to go 3 days wide just to cut down a little bit of the Vega exposure. It is 96. With the two of them together, you're short a little. But I think you can honestly consider maybe doing 3 contracts here. Now, that's a little more than I would normally do with a 1-2-1 fly. But if we look at it, it doesn't affect the volatility a lot. It gives us just a little bit. Instead of being short $20 worth of Vega per point, you're long $27 worth of Vega per Vega point. So I think this trade looks a little better, I think, and it does elevate things here. Gives you 158 a day in theta. So, there is this week 2 big reports coming out. CPI on Wednesday, that'll be an hour before the market opens. PPI on Thursday, an hour before the market opens. And I really think the CPI will be the most important of those. And whatever market reacts to the CPI, it'll probably just follow suit with the PPI. I think that'll be a little more muted because the big reaction, I believe, will come with the CPI. As far as reports go, as always, you could have news coming on tariffs that blow all those out of the water. But if you look at this here, and I just go forward maybe to Wednesday, by the end of the day, Wednesday, the 11th, that is, I think you could easily be, if you're anywhere near the center or a lot of parts here, easily be at a 10% profit, 10% of what you paid for it, right? That's how I do that. What do I have in this trade? Well, I got a little over $900 in the calendar. If I got filled at 310, I bought 3 of them, and I bought one of these butterflies for $24. So about $3,500 in the trade. I think you could have 10% in a wide area of the trade by then. And maybe if volatility came out of the shorts a little sooner. Now, this is not for this Friday. You see, I set this up for the following Friday. But even then, the volatility will probably drop a little in these options. That could be beneficial to you because most likely it will drop more in the 20th than the 23rd because it's further out. That could help you also because you want your options that you own, that you bought, to keep their volatility if you can, or even go higher, or at least outperform the ones you sold, like this 60-60 or this 59-30 put for the 20th. You'd like to see anything that you're going to want to buy back cheaper, have its IV drop because then it'll be worth less. So this is an idea I think worth looking at this week if we stay in this volatility range, 15, 16 on the VIX. Maybe about 17 would be pushing it, but that's about as far up on the VIX as I'd want to go with this. And I might switch over to the put diagonal instead of the calendar at 17. But it's something to consider if we're in here or lower. Now, also, If we get below 15, let's say we have a heck of a day tomorrow, it wouldn't be that much to drop us below 15 on the VIX. We're already at about 16 and a half. If we're below 15 on the VIX, then many times I'll go out 4 days, 4 days with my long because I'll get a little more Vega. I'm not as afraid of long Vega. Why? Because volatility is lower. The chances of it going lower are lessened because it's already dropped. Could it go lower? Of course. But chances are it would stay the same to go higher. So you could do that. Now, you notice it does drastically increase the price of your trade, but it does give you a little faster theta. So if we get below 15, we can consider that. Above 15, I would stick with 3 days wide. So that's the kind of trade I'd be looking at tomorrow, assuming that we stay around the area we are now. We'll have to see what news develops overnight and how the market feels about the weekend news. But that's what I have for this week, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out all those links that are in the description of this video so you can join my trade alert service and my Traders Lounge opening bell service. Combine those two for a very low price, and then you can be over trading with us every day over at arimer.com, communicating with other traders. We're really having a good time over there, being successful. A lot of good interaction on the Slack app that we use to communicate during the day. So I hope to see you over there. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. Throw them in the comments. You can also email me anytime about questions, or if you're interested in any of my services, including one-on-one mentoring, just email theoptionsmentorspx@gmail.com. Link is also in the description. So have a great rest of your weekend, folks, and a great trading week. By the way, I won't be with you next Sunday. Next Sunday is Father's Day, and I'm coming back from a trip. So there will be no video from me next weekend because I'm busy all weekend. So it'll be 2 weeks before there's another video here on my channel, but I'll get back with you then. So have a good one, and good luck with all your trading. Bye-bye.